The Portland Water District and its predecessor, the Portland Water Company, began serving the region after the Great Portland Fire of 1866. With over 150 years of expertise, Portland Water District is rich in history and experience. The Portland Water District became an independent quasi-municipal organization separate from the City of Portland in 1908. Today, Portland Water District is governed by a publicly elected board of 11 trustees, representing member communities that receive our services. The source of drinking water is Sebago Lake, which is Maine's deepest and second largest lake. The quality of water in Sebago Lake is among the highest of any water supply in the United States. It is so clean, in fact, that Portland Water District is not required to filter the water. This is very rare. Only about 50 of the 13,000 surface water suppliers in the country are exempt from filtration. Greater Portland is fortunate to have Sebago Lake as a source. A lake 12 miles long, 300 feet deep, and 995 billion gallons in volume. It wasn't an easy task back in the mid-1800s to construct a 16-mile-long pipeline from Sebago Lake to Portland, but it was a smart one, and we do not take it for granted. The Portland Water District has a very active stewardship program that helps protect Sebago Lake and the watershed land that drains into the lake, otherwise known as the Sebago Lake Watershed. We use several approaches to help ensure the quality of Sebago Lake water, including extensive water quality monitoring, land and water use protection measures, shoreland zone inspections, pollution prevention activities, environmental education and outreach, land acquisition, conservation measures and easements, and forestry management. Keeping the land surrounding a lake forested is one key to protecting water quality since forests naturally clean water. The forests around Sebago Lake act as a natural water filtration system, which means higher quality drinking water. The Sebago Lake Water Treatment Facility was built in 1994 as a result of the revisions to the Safe Drinking Water Act. The facility treats roughly 22 million gallons of water on an average day, and almost 50 million gallons on peak days. We perform nearly 15,000 analyses a year to ensure the drinking water is safe. The water is treated through ozonation, ultraviolet light, and chloramines, a chlorine compound, before it travels through 1,000 miles of pipes to the homes and businesses in Greater Portland. Ozone is a very powerful disinfectant that kills harmful microorganisms. To ozonate the water, we first convert liquid oxygen into a gas. We then zap the oxygen with high voltage power to separate some of the oxygen atoms, which then combine with other oxygen atoms to form ozone. That ozone is bubbled through the water in contact tanks and destroys bacteria. As the water is treated, the ozone naturally converts back into oxygen. Next, the water is treated with ultraviolet light or UV. This was added in 2014. During the UV water purification process, water is sent through units equipped with UV lamps. As the water is exposed to the UV light, molecular bonds in the DNA of harmful microorganisms are broken down, rendering them harmless. Lastly, chloramines are added to provide long-lasting disinfection throughout the water distribution system, and other additives are infused to help reduce pipe corrosion and for dental health. Now, the water is clean and safe and ready for its journey to the customers of the Portland Water District. Established on October 18, 1972, the Clean Water Act set new pollution reduction requirements with a broad goal that all waters in the U.S. should be swimmable and fishable. That goal paved the way for thousands of wastewater treatment facilities to be constructed around the country. Wastewater plants have played a vital role in cleaning up the pollution that was plaguing our waters, closing beaches, and devastating aquatic life. The Portland Water District operates 5 wastewater treatment facilities in Greater Portland and oversees 2 of the largest industrial pre-treatment programs in the state. Over decades, millions have been invested to improve treatment to protect Casco Bay. The Westbrook-Gorham Regional Wastewater Treatment Facility was built in 1978, and the East End Wastewater Treatment Facility opened a year later in 1979. Together, these plants process over 25 million gallons of wastewater a day and prevent 8.7 million pounds of pollution from entering the environment. Wastewater from homes and businesses is collected in a series of pipes called a collection system and is pumped to the treatment facility through pump stations. You may have seen these pump stations around Greater Portland and wondered what they do. Once wastewater arrives at the treatment facilities, cleaning begins with screens that remove debris like sticks and trash. The wastewater then flows through grit chambers that separate and remove inorganic material such as sand and stones from the wastewater. The partially treated wastewater then moves to the primary sedimentation basins, which slows the flow to a rate that allows heavy solids to settle to the bottom of the tank and grease and oil to rise to the surface. Both are removed. Next, the partially treated wastewater moves to the aeration tanks, where air is bubbled in to provide mixing and oxygen to feed naturally occurring and helpful microorganisms. In an oxygen-rich environment, the microorganisms multiply and consume organic material. The microorganisms digest the pollution in the wastewater. After aeration, more than 90% of organic material has been removed from the wastewater. Secondary clarification happens under these domes, where microorganisms are separated from the treated water. A portion of the settled microorganisms are pumped back to aeration to continue treatment. The last step in the process is disinfection. Chlorine is added to kill any remaining microorganisms that may have been present in the water. Excess chlorine is then removed, and the fully treated water is safely released into the environment. Throughout treatment, operators and environmental scientists constantly monitor processes and sample the wastewater to ensure that our goals to protect the environment and Casco Bay are achieved.